Welcome here to Limerick Field this evening as the Alexandria Reds take on DMV Elite FC. The Reds would like to thank our ASA club partners, the City of Alexandria, Alex Renew, Eisenhower Partnership, PI Training, Lost Boys Cider, Kenya Knight State Farm, and Ortho Virginia for their generous support of Alexandria Soccer Association. And we'd like to thank Capelli Sports, the official outfitter of ASA. Let's get you the starting lineups. First for DMV Elite FC, as their head coach, Hassan Azhar, as this starting lineup set. It'll be number 3, Noman Felix Mbia Sampson. Also, number 4, Jose Cotrina Pacheco. Number 5, David Akansanya. Number 8, Jesse Abaga. Number 11, Elias Afasuki. Number 11, Axel Gamez. Number 17, Sakao Awadi. Number 20, Ramsey Ray. 22, Hayden Reese. 25, Richard Forka. And number 99, Melvin Ayuia. Let's check out what the Alexandria Reds and head coach Jim Hogan have as their starting lineup. They've played 5 matches, currently sitting 4th on the table. Bradley Winter is in goal, wearing 00. It'll be number 2, Conrad Brady. Number 5, Moad Ezahir. Number 5, Thomas Woodings, or check that, number 7, Thomas Woodings. Logan Starren is donning number 8, followed by Papa Torre wearing number 9. Number 10 is Abdul Kamara. Dimitri Turner wears number 13. Gregorios Chatsopoulos will wear number 14. James Vandehei, 15, and 23 is Osi Onwadiwe. That rounds out the Reds' starting lineup, and those are our starting lineups brought to you by Ortho Virginia. Stronger starts here. Taking a look at the Reds, mentioned another 4th on the table. 5 matches in, couple wins, 3 draws, 10 goals. DMV Elite FC is 5th on the table. 6 matches in, 3 wins, a draw, and they have scored 12 goals so far here this season. Dan Langnick Papadis with you. That looked like Ezahir maybe overran that a shade. Weather is obviously overcast, as you can see. Much less humid than we've seen here in the first few matches here at Limerick Field in Alexandria, Virginia. But it is supposed to rain all match. However, being told that the idea of thunder and lightning is not omnipresent. Could happen, but not a sure thing. But rain is a sure thing. It's been coming down for about the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's going to play a part today as both teams look to adjust their strategies. The wet turf can be tricky. The ball can skid a little bit different, so adjustments will have to be made by both sides.
And that's something that soccer you're used to, because you're used to playing in the rain, but that still isn't necessarily the easiest thing.
Well, the other thing that you have to get used to is every pitch is a little bit different. For the Reds, they'll be used to the field here at Limerick Field, and they'll know how it's going to adapt, how it's going to adjust. On the other hand, DMV Elite making the trip down. This is their first time ever playing here at Limerick, so
memorable event for them.
It will be, given the weather. They're going to remember how it was rainy and breezy here. It's one of the windiest fields here in the city of Alexandria, as that a miscue headed back. Reds lineup a little bit interesting today. They've made a couple changes.
Yeah, not the one we're used to seeing.
Yeah, you know, Yaga, the starting center back for the past several games, out today with a knock. And then you see Osi Onwudiwe coming in at the 9. He just was named Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year, and he's getting to play his natural position today after starting on the wing, which he's not quite used to last time out.
Talk about what he brings. Obviously, that's a great accolade, being named Gatorade Player of the Year.
Well, he's got a brazen mentality to him for a young player. He's willing to shoot the ball. He's willing to go in to good areas of the pitch, and he really is quite dangerous in the attack. He's also, for being as young as he is, he's got a good frame, he's good size, he's good in the air, he's just a tough player, as he'll now drop in all the way as the Reds now defend this free kick.
Now it looks like Noman Felix Mbia Sampson will be taking it.
Left-footed in-swinger here. Bit tricky for Winter. And that one headed clear by Starin. He was trying to head that away, mistimed his jump just a little bit, skimmed off the top of his head and out for a corner.
Starin had a good match last time out for Alexandria, looking to bank off that.
He's been a key player for the Reds this season. He's one of those guys that was a squad player last year. He was rotational in and out of the team and came back this year ready to work. He was actually the first player in the squad to commit to return for this campaign, and he's earned every minute of it with the hard work that he's put in.
What's the timing of committing and putting together rosters? I know it's an evolving situation as players have their college seasons and try to figure out what they're doing during the summer.
Well, it's a bit of a tricky one in that it starts often very early with some of your returning guys wanting to get together in the winter when they're home on winter break, and then as things adjust, as things change, you get new guys all the way up until sometimes early in mid-May. The deadline for the league coming up this coming week, end of June, so you're able to add players to your squad throughout the season, and that's something that the Reds haven't done too much of, but it is always a possibility.
Does that mainly happen when there are injuries? A little miscommunication there, but Eza here racing back.
Oh, it's twofold. One, it does have to do with injuries, but it also has to do with guys that either didn't expect to be in the area or are coming back. The biggest thing, a lot of these guys know each other. They've played club together. They've been friends for a long time, and when they're having a good experience, they want to come out and play with their old teammates and friends. So they bring guys that they play in college with, bring guys that they play with regularly, and next thing you know, you're piecing together a really strong squad.
Woodings had that one taken away now. Here's Brady, and it's going to be Forka. As the rain continues.
Not really sure what that call for there is. Brady was trying to make his way around a much larger defender.
Ray feeding off. Ray will take it back. Torrey coming over on him.
Torrey had a huge season this past year at VCU and looking to build on that, get back to it. Played as a central forward for VCU, playing in the attacking mid-role here with the Reds. Is so much depth, so much talent in this Red squad.
As Turner looked to get going, it's going to be Jesse Aboga.
Early yellow card for Abogo there. It's a bit surprising to see him get that for what looked to be his first foul of the game.
Noman Felix Mbia Sampson over talking to the official, getting between he and Aboga.
That's 8, correct, Fourth? 8. A yellow card has been issued to DMV Elite's number 8, Abogo.
Here's Eza here. Working ahead to Osi.
Osi just inches offside as the pitch got awfully small, awfully fast for Van de Heij. It gets tricky because when you can hit a 60-yard, 70-yard cross or long ball to try to weight that one inch perfect in about a 35-yard path with the right trajectory.
That one did not have the right trajectory, as ended up over the fence and down toward the water here, just beyond our glorious camera.
It's about the worst possible spot for that to go as it goes over the one place that it's next to impossible to get.
Do you have divers that'll be going in after it?
Send in the search and rescue team
Yes.
for that ball.
We are playing at Alex Renew. Well, we're not. They are playing at Alex Renew, and it is a field that sits atop 18 million gallons of water, partially treated water. There is an odor system that they've spent a lot of time and money to figure out, so much less of that this year than in the past, which is a good thing. Here's Eza here, chasing that one down.
Those are the miscues you see in the rain. It was great link-up play, quick 1-2 touch passing from the Reds, and right at the end of it, it doesn't quite come off because that ball just skids off the turf a little bit wrong, and next thing you know, you're in trouble.
Is concentration also a thing that you think about, you worry about when the rain comes? Like, if you're just out for a walk and it starts raining, obviously your mind starts wandering. Is it the same here, or is it just go back to being an athlete and you got to focus and you're into it and it rains? Soccer players, again, are used to that.
Oh, it depends on the level of rain. This light off and on drizzle we're having today is going to be a non-factor for most of these guys, as it's very much something they're used to. But there does hit a point where it begins to get tough and begins to get tricky.
Ray battling for it. Patria Pacheco floating it in there toward Gamez.
Gamez, a former Alexandria Red with both the UPSL squad and the NPSL squad. Played most of his minutes in the UPSL. Kind of fringe player for NPSL here for the Reds. Couldn't really get consistent minutes up. Taking the option to go on to greener pastures for him, where he's a regular now with DMV Elite. Same with Choso Owide, another former Red. Owide was a key in the UPSL squad, played a Open Cup qualifying match for the Reds.
Here's Eza here with Ray closing in on him. Racing down is Camara.
I'll tell you what will pose questions for the Reds is the size and strength of the goalkeeper for DMV Elite. You take a look at him, he's got to be 6'6". He's one of the biggest goalkeepers I've seen here in the NPSL, possibly even taller than Bill Hamid, who played last year in the league after finishing his career with DC United.
Long arms as well, wiry guy, so big wingspan, covering a lot of space.
He's the guy you don't want to see opposite you if you're taking a penalty kick, I'll tell you that much. He covers a lot of the goal, but if you're the Reds, you gotta ask questions. How are his feet? Put him to the test. Get them to play back to him. Get DMV Elite to play into his feet. Press him. See what he can do.
So sometimes the tall dudes are better up top, not so much down low.
Yeah, at this level, you'd want to see every goalkeeper.
I laugh because another ball goes to that same space.
You'd want to see every goalkeeper able to deal with those, but at the same time, the reality is that some guys get to the level they do based on size or athletic ability alone, and they might have started training with their feet later. It might not be something they're quite as comfortable with, so that is a factor to consider.
0-0 between the Alexandria Reds and DMV Elite FC. Reds playing in their 6th match, DMV Elite in their 7th match of the season. Turner. And another call against DMV Elite. Much to the dismay of head coach Asan Azhar. Here's Eza here. Moving ahead to Kamara. Kamara back toward Ezahir. Reds trying to get on the board, and that's going to go wide. So another ball leaving the field, going over the fence. So the budget for soccer balls here today is something that will be quite looked at.
Well, especially with how poor the finishing and striking of the ball has been, particularly the 2 over the end line from DMV Elite here in the early minutes. Putting those to the point of no return as we send William Jarvis, our man of many talents, to try to track down a way to retrieve those.
How many balls are on reserve? How many balls do you have here before play would have to be suspended because of lack of soccer balls?
So the requirement,
what's the rule?
The requirement is that you get 6 that are checked by the referees pre-match, and it's 3 of them gone here in the first 15 minutes. So that math isn't going to work out at this rate.
It's not going to work out at all. Are there more that are in cars and in storage rooms that can be brought out? As that hit our camera. But we're good.
Might notice a little wobble as that off the tripod. Yeah, it's there's the coaches always have about 10 to 12, sometimes even more available. So, but 6 are checked by the 4th official pre-match and ready to go. And this is what Staren's done really well this year is he's developed his game. He's more comfortable driving with the ball, being a little bit more comfortable on the ball, going forward, ball at his feet. And it just shows how much he's grown in a year's time from last year to this year. He's plays for Emory, and he's really been a key this season as the Reds have also changed system with the new coach playing a double pivot here.
And I was going to say, how much of it is a system change and how much of it is a confidence change as that one goes wide?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I think it's primarily the fact that he's more confident on the ball. But you also look at it last year, the Reds playing with a single pivot, single 6 defensive midfielder, and this year going in more of a 4-2-3-1. So he has coverage. It gives him more license to go forward without having as much pressure behind you. Now, you do lose players like Rafa Machado that played for the Reds the past couple seasons. That was that lone 6, was that key player in there. And things have just changed with new faces in there as Dimitri Turner also coming into the group.
0-0 Reds, DMV Elite FC. Playing in the 17th minute.
Match marked so far by pretty poor ball striking, pretty poor finishing in tight opportunities. Other than that, pretty uneventful here through the first 15. It's been a pretty game to watch. Possession in midfield has been clean. They're knocking the ball about well. 1-2 touch play. It's just the final third for both teams, not what they would be hoping for. Torre certainly going to get called for this, and he does. It's a bit of a silly challenge from Papa Torre, given how the match is being called so far. It's been called very tight. It's been called very evenly, but very tight. Every inkling of contact has been blown for a foul. So gonna need the players to recognize that, make adjustments. They might not be able to play as physically as they would like at this high men's competitive level, but the adjustment is something that they are used to having to make.
Here for DMV Elite, that was Alexandria streaking there.
Wonder how many times he got a hard time from his friends when Ted Lasso came out, and name very similar to Sam Abasanya from the TV show.
It's coming back, isn't it?
I've heard it's coming back. I've heard they're totally turning it on its head, but you know, it's one of those shows that probably should have been left because they finished it on a good note, and you know, it's always hard when the show finishes so well, and then they turn around and bring it back for more. You know, I know the fans want it, but it's not always what's best for the show.
No, it's not.
Miscue on the first clearance, cleaned up well in the end.
You know, that's one of the things Danny McBride does a really good job with Eastbound and Down, Righteous Gemstones, Vice Principals, kind of recognizing when a show's over.
Yeah, and think about how many TV shows over the years you just say, you know what, that went two
season, yeah. One of the DMV Elite players is down, and they're going to call for the trainer. Fans join the Eisenhower Partnership for free family-friendly movie nights here at Limerick Field. Join us Saturday, June 21st and Saturday, July 19th for a movie and treats from local vendors. Doors open 6 p.m. Eastern. More information can be found on the Eisenhower Partnership website and Instagram. Again, check out the Eisenhower Partnership website and Instagram for the free family-friendly movie nights here at Limerick Field, Saturday, June 21st and Saturday, July 19th. What's your family-friendly movie choice? Just your brain dead, gonna relax, watch it, do nothing, don't care, I don't want to have to focus movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good ones. But if we're talking truly family-friendly, I think Inside Out was one of the best, more recent cartoon Pixar movies. I can't remember if it's DreamWorks, Pixar, or Disney, which one of those many animation studios it comes from. But just a good movie. There's been 2 of them now.
Sound of Music was a nice option that I actually saw on the grounds of the Library of Congress outside last summer, which is quite interesting to see it in that setting. Here's Camara, and that's going to be tipped over. Camara, can see the frustration from him. As it looks like the netminder, Melvin Ahuaya, is a little slow to get up.
Incredible tip, and it just showed how big and tall he really is with that one. As he was down on the ground, he felt he had been fouled. Clearly hadn't been. Stayed down for a little bit too long. Had to make up with a phenomenal save, using his size and his length as that service. Just a miscue between a couple of the Reds. You know, he did really well there to get a hand to that, and a strong hand. So many times you see those get tipped into a goal, and he tipped it nicely out.
There's Camara. Was looking back toward Eza here. It'll be knocked out.
Yellow card issued to Alexandria's number 23.
Ocean Madiwe giving a yellow.
Oh, this is where Brady needs to get higher there. He was calling for the ball, and Woodings had drawn pressure from 2. You've got to see him go in behind there. It was the right idea to call for it. He just didn't want to get quite high enough up the pitch.
There's Torre. Eza here. A little too strong.
That time Brady continuing his run, bombing forward, getting that late cross in. Do you want tape for it? Do you want tape? Do you want to tape it?
There's Gregorios. Going to fire forward toward Torre as he gets over to Woodings.
Oh, worked out for OC there, but nearly not working.
That looks like Siga Kabidi is going to enter for DMV Elite. Entering the lineup and checking out for them is Alfasuki.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising to see a 25th minute substitution there. And, you know, take another player that played his youth soccer here for Alexandria after playing for DC Stoddard in his younger years. I actually coached him a couple sessions when he was U15 many moons ago. So it's always nice to see players you've known and over the years playing at this level. But it's you have to ask, is that a sub because of the injury? Was that a sub because of something tactical that the coaching staff didn't like? I'm not really sure there. I thought it was for the injury, but it was not the player that had come off, I don't believe.
What were some of his strengths that you noticed as you coached him?
So I only coached him about 4 or 5 sessions, filling in for his coach at the time. He had Ian Langstone as a coach, now an assistant at GW. Then he went on to play at UDC. But the main thing that just made him different was certainly his pace and his work ethic. He had so much speed. And
Ray making the move. Ezahir. Knocked away.
Torre, for the Reds, working in the half space is a little bit too much with the double six and only one higher midfielder. You'd like to see him a little bit more central.
Well, that one just missed. Again, you can see a frustration there from DMV Elite.
Yeah, Tega getting across well there to try to get something at the near post, but just not able to get on the end of it. And it all came from that breakdown that I was mentioning a couple minutes ago with the midfielders committing too many numbers in the half space. They don't have anybody through the true middle of the field to connect with. So now, you know, they've got Kamara, the winger, playing as a center mid on the ball now.
Kamara weaving it in. Got a whistle there as Torrey got it a little closer. Coming out to a home game, stop by Lost Boy Cider for a locally crafted experience before or after the games. That's Lost Boy Cider.
Woodings was inches offside there on the initial pass. He's the one that was called for it.
Starren.
Osi really trying to play on the shoulder of the last man there, and not sure how that one was off. As
that's going to be stopped by Winter.
Shaky moments. The initial block, Chetopoulos did well, sliding across for coverage for his center back partner Vandehei. These were the two center backs the first match of the season against District Elite. Nice and confusing for the fans at home. District Elite and DMV Elite not being the same.
Do they both have coach buses? DMV Elite does have a nice coach bus option parked just beyond us.
You know, District Elite in their first season, so not 100% sure what their situation is. We played them away. They play on the campus of GW. Growing out of DC YFC, DC Youth Football Club, District Elite now, renamed. Now they go more than just youth. Program director Mitch Dubinsky has been in the game for a long time and growing the game in DC as DC YFC or now District Elite gains more and more foothold in the area.
How much of that plays into the international component of people in this area just because of what Washington, D.C. is, and, of course, D.C. United and how well they've played in Audi Field, and, you know, there's a lot better presence for them as Woodings is in some traffic.
Torrey tried to unload that from range. You know, I think the biggest thing that's made a difference is your first point of it's a super international community. Lots of different cultures, lots of different styles of play though too. Some some play more direct, some try more possession-based football. So it really depends a bit, but you know the DC United's early years I think got the game jump started in the city, while over the past few years they've had some up and down results, a lot of managerial changes. Not sure what all the screaming's about there from the DMV Elite bench. They would have felt that it was off a foul there. Never came in.
Ezza here. Now here's Starin. Ezza here able to keep it in. Grabbed away, though, by Ray.
Good step in the midfield from Chetopoulos, though. Really clever for him to step up there. Read the play well. Knew he had coverage from his midfielder.
Woodings over to Camara, who's dancing with the ball now. Fires wide.
Not far off from the George Mason winger. So he lifted that one to the back post, and if anybody had been crashing the back post, might have been able to get up to it.
How much success did we have in finding those soccer balls that went away in those few minutes? Any?
We are back up to all of those that we started with through the generous security access from the security people down at the other side of Alexandria Renew.
So it's not a naked gun scenario where you had to get on hazardous waste material suits and go in and dive for the soccer balls.
Well, I wasn't the one to do it, so I hope not. And I assume not, as the Reds now.
Torrey. Now here's Camara. He's looking back toward Torrey. Staring. Now here's Torrey. Camara. Played tightly by Ray.
Great tight control there and a tough space from Turner. And that's where Osi's going to grow and develop his game as he goes to Virginia Tech, being a little bit more bold going forward. That one, he was a little bit passive going to Brady outside. That's, again, the left foot as it here, just not able to control the ball, keep it in play. Torrey clipped from behind. Fun fact, Papa Torrey and
I love fun facts.
And Osi Onwudiwe both going to Episcopal High School here in Alexandria, both alums of the same school, though I don't know that they overlapped any. Bit of an age gap between those two. Might have been a situation where Osi was a JV player or a younger, freshman during Papa's senior year, as he now enters the back nine of his career at VCU.
Episcopal High School is where the Reds played a few games last year.
It is, and it's a
nice facility.
It's a great facility, great spot. So much to work with on that campus. We really appreciate our partnership with Episcopal, as we've gotten the opportunity to play there, play games there, practices there, and everything. I thought that was going to be another one over the net, but ends up sitting up. Wooding's scooping right under that ball.
Melvin Ahuaya.
It's, again, the wet surface. You'll see more of that. The ball skids off the top of your boot, especially, by this point in the season, the soccer balls are getting more and more slick. Lovely touch there.
Here's Torrey. Nil-nil with the Reds and DMV Elite playing in the 36th minute.
That was a tough touch from Torrey. He did really well because the player in front of you is jumping for that header. You're trying to read from that, and next thing you know, it's
slapped away there by Ahuay.
The next thing you know, it's the ball's at your feet in no time. And what I've seen from the DMV Elite keeper so far, he's got so much reach, but his technical components, only getting one hand to that. He had plenty of time to see it, dove with one instead of two, never really got his feet set. If you're the Reds, you got to test that.
Trying to go for it here.
See, that's where he is gonna comfortably get to that. He's got the size, he's got the range, he's got the height, but if you put it driven to the sides, I don't know that he has
the agility,
the technical pieces to go with it. He doesn't get his feet set early enough. He's very late getting across to things, and even you see things like that. And that's just where he's so shaky. I mean, it ends up being a goal for Starren as he gets to the back post, largely because the goalkeeper goes for it, doesn't get anything on it, and next thing you know, it's 1-0 Reds.
So Starren, we talked about how he had been making his presence felt and been getting into the rhythm of things over the last few matches.
Reds
able to get
goal
the
scored by
1-0.
number 8, Logan Starren.
PA guy has a booming voice.
volume up a tad.
Yeah.
And then because it's raining, the speaker's placed right next to our broadcast equipment as well. So you have all of that. The DMV Elite bench again erupting.
They're asking for a red card. Meanwhile, the assistant referee has his flag up, I believe, for offside, which would have occurred prior to the foul being called. It would have been a yellow card. It could have been more, but the run being too early offside, negating all of that. Good work by the referee crew to quickly sort that out, communicate. You know, the ref had already gone to the pocket, pulled the yellow card, but getting the right call in the end there, trusting his assistant referee here on the near side. Oh, off the shoulder, that one.
There's Eza here, working ahead, Camara.
Did well to get the ground there. Center back for DMV Elite. As it was a 2v1 situation, it was dangerous counterattacking opportunity for the Reds. Van de High, little drop of the shoulder, just goes by Gamez. Starren taking his goal tally up to 3 on the season. Had a brace against FC Frederick. What a piece of skill that is, too, from Woodings.
I want to remind you, Ortho Virginia is a proud partner of Alexandria Soccer Association. Ortho Virginia orthopedic specialists can treat your bone, muscle, as well as all of your orthopedic needs. Joint, back pains, strains. Ortho Virginia, largest orthopedic practice in Virginia. To schedule an appointment, visit orthovirginia.com. That's orthovirginia.com.
Brady appealing that foul occurred about 5 yards back, so he didn't need to move any further, but respecting the distance assumed now. So they've got to get their 10 yards back, as they now look more like 15 to 20 back. So moot point in the end. Strong fist there from Winter.
Ray to get it in. Camaro was right there for the Reds. And leaping up for that one, again, Winter. As the wind is picked up here at Limerick Field.
Yeah, as I said, it really is one of the windier fields, higher elevation than some of the other fields here in Alexandria, being that it is built on top of that water treatment.
18 million gallons, if you're just joining us. We're standing atop.
That was going to be wide, as it was a pretty creative set piece from DMV Elite, but not taking any chances as here cleared that one away.
44th minute, Reds have the 1-0 lead on DMV Elite. Here's Camara. Camara racing in, and he kicks it home. So Camara able to put it in the net, and that puts the Reds up 2-0 here toward the end of the first.
Yeah, it was a miscue there in transition for DMV Elite. It was a good quick play out by Holden Woodings to slide that one forward, and Katrina Pacheco's been lucky going to ground a couple times. I said a couple minutes ago he slid and was lucky to get the ball, and he would have been 2v1 had he missed. That one he did miss, and Camara in all by his lonesome to slot that one home.
Able to utilize his speed, take advantage of that to give the Reds the 2-0 advantage. Here's Katrina Pacheco firing ahead toward Ray. Now Gamez. That's going to be Van de Hei. That's going to
A little wry smile from Brady in the referee's direction saying, I think that one was already out. The referee said, and the AR said that it was a corner.
Reds goal scored by number 10, Abdul Kamara. The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 2 minutes of added time in the first half. Again, a minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
So I'm sure you could hear that, but 2 minutes of added time.
We're missing the melodic tones of Ethan Jenkins on PA today, so
he's enjoying a nice Copenhagen option. He's in Denmark. Looked quite tranquil where he was the other day on his Instagram reel.
Yeah, he's enjoying the nice Danish weather while we also are enjoying nice Danish weather here. Slightly cool and overcast for this time of year. Van de Hei called for that one.
In case you're wondering what the big circle is on the left of your screen, it's a little wet. It's been raining on and off throughout this glorious match here at Limerick Field. Sterin and Camara have gotten goals for Alexandria here in this first half.
Oh, just catching the top of the net there as we were almost sending the staff back to the water treatment. Should be just moments left of added time.
And indeed, it was seconds left of added time as we are midway through this one, and the Reds in control 2-0. Halftime is here. Back with more after this from Limerick Field. Playing in the 78th minute here. So 2-0, Alexandria has the lead over here. DMV Elite playing in the 79th minute. Alexandria goals from Logan Starren and Abdul Kamara, both coming in the first half. Reds being able to maintain it.
DMV Elite turning out of pressure well there. Good tackle from Rodriguez.
Rodriguez coming in here in the second half. Akansanya to get it in for DMV Elite.
Oop, there goes. Shin guards go flying off. Somehow both shin guards now missing from DMV Elite center back. I think he forgot his soccer socks at home and might have just brought the crew socks with the world's tiniest shin guards.
Here's Ishmael.
With some of the changes, Reds going to a 3-5-2, bringing in some of their academy products as well as some new faces.
Wind and rain picking up a bit here in Alexandria. It's been raining most of the match. There was a point of about 10 minutes or so where it absolutely poured. It's still raining very steadily, maybe a shade off a pour, but it's pretty much still. I mean,
I would consider this pouring, and it was a deluge earlier.
Okay, all right. There we go. That's the step up, the deluge.
It'll be interesting to see with the new adjusted laws to the game for keeper in possession. It is now starting with the Club World Cup. It's a corner kick if the keeper takes more than 8 seconds.
What's the average time it takes?
So, it really depends on the
5-ish.
situation. It should take, 3 to 5 seconds depending on the scenario, but
pushing forward. And that's going to get in.
U19 MLS Next Academy player Alonzo Aguilar.
So Aguilar coming off the bench and coming into the scoring column. Alonzo Aguilar with the third goal of the match for the Reds.
Reds goal scored by Alonzo Aguilar.
So Aguilar along with Logan Starren and Abdul Kamara.
Yellow cards abound after that goal as well as for dissent, as half of the DMV Elite players showing the character they've shown all match with some choice words for the referee that he took exception to.
It's like they're talking to all the referees and dropping many words that, as we've talked about family movie night, would not be appropriate.
Yeah, again,
I get frustration, but
there's frustration, and then there's an unacceptable level of professionalism, and you don't want to see that from the captain of a team, which is what we're seeing here from the DMV Elite captain, using profanity directed right at the fourth official in front of us. It's it's a shame to see.
83rd minutes here at Limerick Field. 3-0 Alexandria has the lead. Reds looking for their third win of the season.
You know, it's been the Reds have done so well transitioning to this 3-5-2 so quickly with basically no hiccup. They changed formations, subbed new guys on, guys that they've trained together but have yet to play game minutes together, and it looks smooth as can be as they pick apart this DMV Elite side. Every Reds player just hunting the ball. As you see the one of the center forwards, Agre, tracking all the way back to win that ball and poke it out for a throw-in.
Firing ahead for the Reds. Logan moving it over. Now here's Tuardros.
Oh,
staring.
That one. Happy to curl out as he throws his hands up in apology. Yeah, that one was very nearly to the Alexandria soccer office over on Jefferson Street with how hard he struck that one. You know, the other thing that's been a bit uncharacteristic of this competitive level has been the fact that DMV Elite just allowing the Reds to have free headers, free play. They're more concerned with complaining to their teammates and about their teammates than they are contesting for the ball.
It's an interesting mix. Ink pen working it over.
And they're gonna have some challenges in these closing moments of the match.
The goalkeepers for the Reds, Winter and Inkpen, have played pretty well, pitching a shutout so far in this one.
Well, the thing with it is they haven't seen much of the ball. They've come up big when they've had to. Right. There have been some scary moments, and this is where the Reds are going to excel by and large, is in transition moments, because the way that DMV Elite's pressing just opens up a team for a possession-based squad like the Reds. They're not pressing as a group, and it can be seen because they're not acting like a team. You have to press as a team, but that starts with acting like a team earlier on. And you know, they're more concerned with what their teammates are doing than working with their teammates to press as a group, connect in pressure, and really do the little stuff. As Agre now on the ball for the Reds.
Agre pushing forward.
Plenty of options for Sydney Agre, and it will be a penalty.
Gives us a chance to remind you to join the Eisenhower Partnership for free family-friendly movie nights here at Limerick Field. Join us Saturday, June 21st and Saturday, July 19th for movie and treats from local vendors. Doors open 6 p.m. More information can be found on the Eisenhower Partnership website and Instagram.
So I said it earlier in the match that you wouldn't want to see this goalkeeper in goal, and now on a penalty kick, and now we see exactly that. There's so much size.
Melvin Ahue
practically at the crossbar with his head.
From Lynchburg College, stands 6'7", $197. That's what he's listed at. Didn't play last season, only 2 matches the season before. As he dances. There's Rodriguez, and the guess goes the wrong way, and Rodriguez puts it in the net. Fourth goal for Alexandria. Rodriguez and Aguilar here in the second half. Sterin and Camara in the first half.
Rodriguez won that penalty kick with some good shifty work in the box, going left to right. Wins that penalty kick and ultimately takes it and slots it.
For a goalkeeper, is it just a guesswork? You're just going to sit there and say, all right, he's probably going to go this way. I mean, at a higher level, I'm sure there's more scouting and stuff that goes into it. At this level, when you don't have in-depth scouting reports, what are you going with?
Well, it depends. You know, if a guy is the regular penalty taker, takes every penalty kick, that's one thing. But when it's a guy like Rodriguez that hasn't taken one yet this season, you don't know where he's going to go, and it is a bit of guesswork. But, you know, if there's a team with a regular penalty taker, you best believe that these guys should be doing their homework and preparing for the regular penalty taker in the match that's upcoming. Do we have the added yet?
No word yet as to how much added time will be tossed on.
Dylan Logan trying to be a bit cheeky there, trying to slot that one in at the near post. Big goalkeeper getting a foot to it with the kick save to put it out for a corner. And you'll see the Reds not committing as many numbers forward as they were earlier, as they're comfortably in control. This one's still unbeaten.
So 4 minutes of extra time, at least 4 minutes of extra time here will be added.
The fourth official has indicated that a minimum of 4 minutes of added time will be held in the second half. A minimum of 4 minutes of added time.
Alexandria in control of this one, 4-0.
Still unbeaten. They've had some ties. They've had some closely contested ones. You know, the game against Grove United, not what they would have hoped the final result would be, with having had a penalty kick in the 90th minute several games ago. And then after taking the lead against Virginia Dream, they would have hoped to close the door on that one. But what a strong performance to follow that very, very tight match just 4 days ago on Thursday.
Yeah, 2 wins, 3 ties so far this season for the Reds, on their way to their 3rd win. Still with a couple minutes to be played here in extra time.
That dummy faked out just about everyone, including the striker who would have hoped to get on the end of it for DMV Elite. And it is now going to be 3 wins, 3 draws, barring absolute mayhem in the last 90 or so seconds, just over about 2 minutes of play.
Something that I have not seen in my vast soccer viewing.
Yeah, you know, that you see sometimes at the professional level, you see a 1 minute hat trick or a guy that just picks up the ball 3 times in a couple minutes, but 4 is a tall order in such little remaining time, as the Reds look to close the door on this one and get back to the training ground to prepare for the upcoming match next weekend. I have to say, this one's not going to be a fun one to break down our broadcast equipment and break down our tents after in this rain.
Perhaps I have something on my docket that I will need to get to when this match wraps. DMV Elite entering the day 5th on the table. The Reds 4th on the table, but the Reds just blowing them out here this evening.
Yeah, it's been an absolute clinic from the Reds as they move the ball. And you know, I will say, I think in a lot of ways, DMV was very much in the match when it was 1-0. They were even in the match when it was 2-0, and they've kind of torn themselves and torn each other down.
And they came out seemingly more aggressive than the Reds at the beginning.
Yeah, they looked good through the first half and even through the start of the second half. But as the competition between teammates and the tone got more negative, so did the play.
If you're the Reds coming off of 4-0, what looks like to be a 4-0 victory, what are you going to work on? And it looks like that is indeed going to be it. So what do you work on if you're the Reds?
Well, I think the main thing after a match like this, you're working on recovery. You're working on getting back to full match fitness, making sure that you can go out and turn around and do the same thing again. This is a league of no breaks. This is a league of no pauses. It's high competition game in, game out. And, you know, despite the final scoreline, you're not looking at this as an easy match. There was a lot of moments that were competitive. There were a lot of moments that both teams were very much in it. And you're looking to prepare for the next match at the highest level possible and get ready for the playoffs.
The Reds would again like to thank our ASA community partners, the City of Alexandria, Alex Renew, Eisenhower Partnership, PI Training, Lost Boy Cider, Kenya Knight State Farm, and Ortho Virginia for their generous support of Alexandria Soccer Association. And we'd like to thank Capelli Sports, the official outfitter of ASA Red. Soccer fans, join us June 19th when the WPSL women's team takes on Arlington Blue at 7 p.m. right here at Limerick Field or online with our broadcast. Again, this evening, the Reds beat DMV Elite 4-0. Goals from Logan Sterren, Abdul Kamara, as well as Alonzo Aguilar and Christian Rodriguez for the Reds. So 4-0 final score. The Reds in the win column, giving them now 3 wins on the season. For Nick, I'm Dan. Make it a great night, everybody.